Of course, who's alongside me today. I think we'd have said, well, Argentina should run riot against Japan, but yesterday Japan, I think, surprised everybody with their battling performances in their last two games.
Such is the nature of this game. The carnival atmosphere changes things, and Japan's team is absolutely outstanding yesterday and nearly pulled off a big one. It is very comfortable here at Adelaide Oval. The Moreton Bay fig trees make me feel like I'm at home, surrounded by the tradition here at this wonderful ground. It's a great start for day 2 of the series.
Andrew Lees, 29-year-old referee from Sydney, referees in the top league in that part of New South Wales. Well, simple fact is that Japan have never beaten Argentina, but on yesterday's form, when they lost to Samoa by a margin of only 5 points in 57, who knows what's in store. The kickoff has to go 10 metres unless the opposition choose to play it, and they actually did play it and knocked it on in the process. So a mistake both ways, which allows Japan to make a quick recovery. Well, they had some terrific battles. I mentioned Samoa. They lost to Wales by only 1 converted try and really looked back in the groove. Surprise side who've never really hit the heights.
The interesting stats from yesterday's games all up. Only 3.6 scrums per game average, which tells you just the skills of these teams and the handling.
Yeah, absolutely so. And an average of 6 tries a game, 40 points, cut and thrust of 7s. It's never dull. And here come Japan.
That's that wonderful part of 7's rugby. It just has everything the 15-a-side game is encumbered with.
Matsushita is down. The Argentinians, one of their key strengths is their in-your-face tackling all the time. They close down and they're quick, terrier-like too. And they're setting off at good pace here. They've got that man, Santiago Gomez Cora. And Santiago Gomez Cora is the man perhaps principally to watch out for during the day. A player who has continued then to increase his own record of the most tries scored by anyone, 189th try, and this avowedly his final season, and he's going to go out with a bang. Look at this.
Vision is what it's about. Romagnoli, the veteran, sees the opportunity down the left flank, and who better to finish it off than Gomez Cora. 29 tries so far this year to add to his very impressive tally. As you said, Nigel, he's been an adornment to the game of 7s.
There's the tally then, 189 tries. First played in Durban some 8 years ago. Looking to actually develop his business interests and maybe dropping out. I'm pretty well assured that that's the case at the end of this season. This could even be his last tournament. He's still not certain whether he'll be in London and Edinburgh at the end. Good start for Argentina then, 7-pointer at the beginning. Well, maybe it's early morning that is producing the early mistakes, but Japan chose to play the restart and have possession now. Watch out for Iwamoto and Date, these newcomers, and this is good running. The crowd always get behind the underdog, and they love this with Yokoyama. Konichi Yokoyama always playing cat and mouse, and he's gone away. Konichi Yokoyama. What a good moment to score your first try in the tournament.
One of 3 sets of twins here in the Adelaide tournament. Konichi Yokoyama. And yesterday, David Fordham and I looked at him on the bench. He's got skinny, bandy legs. He held the helmet on. He stands out, and that time he stood out because he got into space. Look at him. Absolutely, like parenthesis, the
Japanese cowboy shape. But boy, can he run. Watch this. One way, then the other. Inside, outside. And 7-all with the conversion of this try for the newcomer. Debut Hong Kong last week. 2 tries there and an important one here in this bowl quarter-final to square it off.
Big early crowd here just filtering in. Yesterday was sensational. 20,000 in pre-sales, and today looks like it's going to add even more to the celebration. But Argentina immediately onto the attack.
Cáceres it is. He's got lots of support. Bit slow to offload there. And I don't think his teammates will be too chuffed with that. He had players either side there. Cáceres went into contact and spilled the ball in the tackle.
Cáceres there.
Former World Cup player for Japan in 15s, Wataru Murata. And he will be delighted with the step up in form that Japan showed yesterday. It really was, after an onslaught from Tonga in the first game, they really got into the groove and then gave Samoa the fright of their lives.
Japan aren't looking to be physical with Argentina. Argentina as well, they like chipping the ball in behind, so there's a nice little play going on between two sides strategically.
Superb running, cutting back inside, and Brazzoni is the man to restore the lead to Argentina. Lovely interplay, but of course the key was losing the scrummage feed by Japan.
Yes, one of those simple mistakes. 3 tries in Hong Kong, including one they dubbed the hand of God, as one of his other countrymen, Maradona, was accused of. And he just slipped into the gap, no doubt this time. Just dots the ball down and gets on with it.
As with the class teams, the support play is so important, and Argentina doing it perfectly then, with players on hand, with the man in possession on the break. So they're back to a 7-point lead again. Remember, it's just 7 minutes each way. It's cut and thrust, unrelenting, and of course, as the day wears on, the fitness levels will be exposed. And so often it's the team that lasts the pace that win the day. Great restart, just allowing his own forwards to get there, but it's actually a knock-on by Japan. It's practiced art, isn't it? Just hanging restart, getting your forwards up there to repossess.
One of the key players you pick first in your 7 side is the man that can retrieve possession from the kickoff, not only receiving but also attacking, because that critically sets the tone for your game. Because if you can win back your own kick, statistics say you're more likely to score quickly thereafter. And this is a statistical game.
Bit of a problem at the set piece for Argentina. Last few seconds, doesn't it fly by? 7 minutes, 30 seconds only remaining of that. 14 points to 7. And Japan, very positive, love to run, love to attack, but they're not so clever at the 50-50 ball winning. Possession the key. And look at the impact there of the Argentinian forwards. Coming to Santiago Gomez Cora. His brother Pablo, of course, another veteran of Argentine 7's rugby. They were both a part of their title, which they won, the only one, in Los Angeles 4 years ago now. But they're always hovering around at the top. But it's a final flurry for Matsushita in this second half, with Japan offloading via Iwamoto back to Matsushita. But look at the scampering, terrier-like covering, but he's getting in between the man. Just went forward. Brave effort to try and square it before the half-time, but the whistle goes from Andrew Lees, and 7 minutes has flown, and it's still in the balance. Argentina 2 tries to 1. The conversion's all good, so it's 14 points to 7 at the 2-minute break. So we look down on this stadium. It is one of the great sporting meccas of the world, isn't it? I think it's got such a beautiful character.
We saw last night Les Burdett, the groundsman here, just tendering his pitch in the middle of the field, ostensibly used mostly for cricket and famous the world over, Adelaide, for its cricket pitch. There's no reason, and oftentimes they become a real minefield for football teams, being hard but at care and attention. There the Japanese talking about how they're going to score more than 17 points, the most they've ever scored against Argentina in any of their clashes in 7s.
And here the new coach, Gonzalo Garcia Ossetti. It's an extraordinary thing that Argentina have chopped and changed in terms of the coaching role. Duncan Forrester did well, Wellington, San Diego. But here's the new man in charge. And you can see with sevens, an interesting stat there of, for Japan, it was 9.6 passes completed to produce a try. For Argentina, 8 passes. And it's that fluidity of the game, which is also so much a part of its appeal.
I always wondered what 0.6 of a pass was, Nigel. It's a very interesting stat. When it comes down and you divide numbers, it's just numbers at the end of the day. What it means is that there's full interactivity of every team member when tries are scored. It's not structured. It has very little basic structure to it, but it's just a real celebration.
Well, you're reminding me of back home in the UK. There's an average of 2.4 children per family. So the last words, 1 or 2 crucial points that the coach can make.
They have never lost to Japan in sevens.
No, they've always won easily against them too, but it's a different story. Things move up and form changes, and I think, as we saw yesterday, some of the lesser lights, you might say the emerging sevens nations, are just going up in standard all the time.
And that's the whole purpose of this wonderful internationally sponsored tournament, is to improve that other tier of rugby, to give them a platform.
Lovely pick up on the half volley then by Gonzalo Camacho, and he's going to go the whole way. Did he get out at the corner? No, he's safe. The try is given. That's just what you want to do at the start of a second half. It really asserts your authority. It unsettles the other side, and that was brilliantly taken. Lovely individual score by Camacho from, like most of these players, from Buenos Aires. New last season, played all through, and experience and initiative.
Gonzalo Camacho looking like a halfback from Argentina of the late 70s, Suarez Gache. He moved. Nobody expected him to score on his own, and there was some sort of reluctance in the Japanese defence.
Conversion, that's a fine strike by Romagnoli, but the flag stayed down. It just drifted away. One of the players, Romagnoli, who was part, along with Gomez Corda, of that triumphant day when Henry Ruco Olivar coached an Argentine side to an IRB Sevens title for the first and only time so far. 3 replacements can come at any time off the bench from the 5 others in the squad. 12 players to a squad, 7 on the pitch. 3 off that bench there can come on at any time, but once on, they can't come. If they've been replaced, they can't come back on again.
It's not an interchange, is it? Once you are replaced, and that's the same in the 15-a-side game. Once you've been replaced, you can't come back into the fray.
So 19-7, Japan looking to counter-attack from inside their own 22, spread wide by Suzuki. I won't make any silly puns about stepping on the accelerator and things.
Best not.
This is Iwamoto.
But it's what they need to do.
They do indeed. Hiroshi Takayama and Lokatui of the hairstyle. Lokatui, Tongan, New Zealand born, part of this Japan squad. Been influential too, he has.
Plays for Rico up in Japan, as do a number of players in the 7 squad. It's a very mature competition in Japan, with expat players playing a significant part, a lot from New Zealand.
A bit of a bang for Kaoru Matsushita. These are fit athletes, and it often shocks, I think, some of the players who transfer from 15s to 7s, just what fitness levels are demanded.
Time's off.
It's a big pitch, a lot of space to cover, and one missed tackle is like giving away a try. And Japan have given away a bit of possession here, haven't they? 9 times. but still not out of it yet. Was that a deliberate block? Referee says no. Always trouble here. But there's an earlier knock-on, and it'll be a relieving scrummage for Japan.
Just seems as though Japan have lost the initiative that they showed yesterday. They seem to be waiting for Argentina to create play. At the front of the line out, then a Japan-like ploy, a quick throw to the front and interplay with the thrower. This is the innovation that Japan have brought to the game, yet they just seem reluctant somewhat today.
Yeah, it's a bit like their opening game yesterday. Maybe they're slow starters, one might say. Against the head again. This should be a run-in for Miyano. They are just losing the set piece. The forwards here are letting them down. You've got to win out your own ball. You've got to guarantee the scrum, the line out, and then hope to get 50-50 in the loose. But this is a slipshod in a way by Japan, and easily capitalised upon.
Well, 4 tournaments and a couple today. Look at that, the push that the Brigada, that Argentina, the push all together. And even though they'd probably be backs playing in the forwards, that time they were able to win possession, which is almost a given. It should be for Japan, and turned it straight into points.
So near certainty now that 100% record against Japan will continue for Argentina. They go up to 24 points to 7 as the conversion attempt goes some way wide from Andres Romagnoli. Another who'll be at the back end of his 7th career. There's the try scorer, though. He's some years to come, the man from Cordoba. You're extolling the virtues of Cordoba yesterday, Chris, weren't you?
Yes, it's a wonderful area, and the great players that have come to there on the Pampas. They have terrific players. Japan mustn't be early morning people like yourself, Nigel. They seem slow starters in this very laid-back, slightly overcast day here at Adelaide.
That is very unkind, but unfortunately true.
They're probably reading yesterday's paper as well about how well they did and are bathing in the reflected glory and not getting on with the job.
Don't think the audience want to know that I mistakenly bought yesterday's paper this morning. Never mind. It's a penalty to Japan. Well, yes, the weather yesterday will be fine.
Wasn't it? Good work, though, by Japan. What they have to do is change things up a little bit. They've used a kick which Argentina have failed to use so far in this game as a weapon. They've got deep into Argentinian territory, but now need to be able to win back possession.
So just over a minute and a half remain for Japan here. 17-point margin, 3 times the score. But remember, of course, the losing team in these rounds. Here is a try coming up for Yokoyama, his 2nd. It's one of the things you'll know for sure about Japan in any sporting competition. No conceding defeat. They'll just play right through to the end. They take the quick long-distance attempt, which misses Matsushita, but Kenichi Yokoyama's made his mark here. They'll lose and go into the shield competition, so we'll see them out again, and they'll go out fighting here.
Well, Yokoyama, named after one of the great industrial port cities of Japan, scores out wide, but it was after the work of their Tongan teammate Lokatui, who was able to take the defence and flick the ball on. Yokoyama has been replaced and takes his spot back on the bench.
Last minute we're in now. Not going to carry the 10. Argentina know that no point playing it. We'll just soak up a little more time, rest a little here. No points margins at issue because it's winner takes all into the bowl semi-finals. In possession is Morosino, and they've got a lot of all-round strength, and this man has been the inspiration so often. Santiago Gomez Cora. His setup flung away by Moyano into the hands of Amelong. Oh, clever big handoff on big Matsushita. Flung out by Ascarati. He's impressed this tournament. Moyano, oh, man and ball, thank you. And
do you think he had? Do you think he had a look at the Tongan torpedo?
I think he did. I think he's
Exocet
thought, I want to play again later today. And we won this game. In fact, they have won it now, as Cáceres just ducked out of the pass. So, yes, emphatic enough in the end. Argentina, they will move through to the bowls semi-final. But Japan, well, for them it will be into the Shield, so we'll see them again later on. But Argentina doing a pretty efficient job.
Our next match, another bowls quarter-final between France and Canada, and the head-to-head sees a French domination.